Hello and welcome everybody to my Pecha presentation on leadership, more importantly, corporate leadership, and how servant and situational leadership techniques can be applied within the corporate leadership realm to help you become the best leader you can for your subordinates and your company. These people might look great in their suits and their perfectly conservative attire, wonderful gleaming smiles, haircuts, and even their positions of authority. They might look like they're in power, and some people might have told you that they're in power. However, power is defined by a bunch of different ways. Namely, it's the way that the process that you can influence, and influence is a key concept in the definition of power. Power is the ability to influence others, and leadership power comes from a number of sources: reward power, coercive power, legitimate power, reference power, and expert power. All of these powers can be used to help the leader motivate and empower his own employees or her own employees to help them get through all of the obstacles, literal or specific, that are lay in their paths along their journeys. There are a number of different leadership styles, but first I'd like to discuss what is a leader. Is it somebody who works in a cubicle like this? Is it somebody who works in a big office? Perhaps a leader is a government official to you, somebody who works in a much bigger office with a Romanesque pillared fascia on the front of their building and steps with lion heads. Mostly, people would say that leaders, they make good decisions, they're trustworthy, they communicate well, they inspire others. Some people would say that leaders are good at building and maintaining morale. They're able to build and guide teams. They're able to deal with difficult people and handle conflicts. Some of the final things I've mentioned, I think, are some of the more things that you'll find most prevalent in your workplaces as leaders. As we go through my presentation, you will notice that a lot of these pictures, if not all of them, are in an outdoors environment. These are all my own photos I've taken myself and through the course of many of my leadership courses that I teach at New Mexico State. I teach backpacking 1, backpacking 2, and climbing 1 and climbing 2. These all involve myself taking students as well as volunteer student leaders out into the wilderness where we have a great experience underneath a safe experience or a safe environment so that they may grow as individuals. Continuing on, one of the things that I will teach all of my students are what are the leadership styles. Leadership is helping others, yes, but it's not only helping others, it's helping others help themselves. The main leadership styles that most corporate training modules will focus on are authoritarian or autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire. Authoritarian leadership styles identify themselves where the decision-making function resides primarily with the assigned leader. The main characteristics of this style are that it's a fast process. It discourages a group commitment, however, and it does not promote spontaneity or creativity within the group. This is an effective method when the assigned leader has the most knowledge and experience. It is also effective in a dangerous situation when quick, decisive action must be taken. It is probably the most efficient style in terms of time and communication. The next style that most people are familiar with is the democratic style of leadership. This leadership style is inherent in its decision-making function residing within the group itself, while the leader controls the situation. Some of the characteristics of this process are that while it is a slow process, it does encourage a group commitment to the outcome. It produces a greater initiative, and it may produce a disenchanted minority with those who may not be involved. Most of these pictures I'm showing you have everybody involved, as because that's what a servant leader will do. A servant leader likes to take the best of the authoritarian and the democratic process and apply it towards a situationally dependent and a situationally relevant leadership scenario where they may take a step back and simply be the mediator or the arbitrator amongst the group so that they can make their own decisions. That is one of the decision-making styles that is used in conflict negotiation as well as for just simple decision making. Now, while leaders are being servants, they need to figure out exactly how the best way to serve others is. In this case, I'm providing moral support, and I'm going to catch this young lady as she flies across the rope course. However, the main decision-making strategies I'd like to discuss with you all are analytic decision-making, heuristic decision-making, and expertise decision-making. Generalizations based on a few pieces of information is what we call heuristics. It has strengths of being fast and simple, but it has the weaknesses of the fact that it's not always right. We're only relying on cues, and if they are wrong, the result can be that we make the wrong decisions based off of wrong cues. Expertise decision making is where we no longer require conscious effort. Instead, we arrive from intuitive recognition and familiar discordant cues. The strengths are that it's fast and accurate, but the weakness is that we fall into traps such as the expertise trap, where we forget how we learn to make a decision and have trouble coaching others. Some of the problems that we run into while being a servant leader are that we end up creating too many wonderful leaders that are too cohesive with the group. We end up creating groups that are take too much initiative trying to help the rest of the group succeed. Success breeds success, many people say, and I do feel that this is the same for everybody. Thank you for attending my presentation, and I hope you all learned something about being a good servant leader.